So this is a $5-6 billion company. Actually kind of really impressive. Let's take a look here. I like Pinduoduo. Short report is good. I talked to the guys who wrote it. Really, I mean, impressive work they did. I'm not adding to quantum shorts, but I'm considering that. And, you know, I'm pretty fully short here. 𝗥 up 166 basis points. I think that's session highs. There's no real event happening. The quantum event it's not really an event. There's not going to be like press releases and like everybody gets 10 minutes to talk. That's not an event. And they just had their quarterly calls, so it's not like they could say anything new. They would say them on their quarterly calls. Yeah, if you went all in to the point where, you know, you have caused yourself a lot of damage, I mean, I think reflecting on position sizing is unfortunately going to be something you're going to have to do. I mean, 5% position max is the typical max position, but you know, when you're dealing with volatile stocks, maybe even smaller should be the position. If you chose to make it a really big position, that you also have to deal with the consequences. You know, nobody forced you to go all in. That was your choice. You know, we're knowingly bubble hunting here. Squeeze hunting, bubble hunting, no tears in the casino. We're all learning something today. There's a lot of ways to put the trade on YJAG. You'll find a way. Yeah, 𝗏𝗁𝗏 knows we've actually been through worse on quantum. We've definitely been through worse. When IONQ hit 50, it was bigger than like real companies, huge companies. It was like 10, 12 billion market cap. Could you imagine what that like Peter Chapman was feeling? That guy was like, I quit. I'm taking all this stuff. I'm out of here. I need to sell all ASAP. I'm buying a real house. He's like, I need to make a real estate purchase. Like, okay, how much is the purchase? $500,000, $1 million? 32 million. You're looking at your IONQ stack and you're saying, yeah, I'd rather have a $32 million house. And the baggies are like, oh yeah, great. That sounds great. Yeah, that's what he did. And he literally said it was because of real estate purchase. Got to buy my mama a house, you know? And then I think that probably what happened is they didn't want him to quit. And they needed to get a new CEO in the pinch because like the guy they got is not really legit, like at all. So like the guy they picked up, their new CEO, he's just kind of like, he was on the board. So he's like telling the board, look, I'm out of here. I'm going to take all this stock and leave. This is crazy. And the board member is like, no, I can't do that. I can't let you do that. And he's like, stay on as executive chairman. And then what are we going to do? We'll say that you're buying real estate. Everything's going to be the same. Don't worry. Same with Palantir, except they actually have a business to run. It's a good business. Way different. Palantir's, at least like Palantir's like, yeah, okay, we still have our jobs. We're still going to make money. The funniest part about IONQ is they literally pivoted from quantum computing. Like, we're going to do quantum networking. Quantum computing kind of sucks. We kind of suck at it. We got to do something else because we don't have any revenue and we can't get any revenue. So it's time to do something else. So they bought that weird company. They're buying that weird company. They're not saying how much revenue that company generates. They're not saying what percentage of the company they're buying. Like, it's just a crazy, like, it's unprecedented. And it's happening across the whole stock market. Yeah, quantum networking is a complete scam. It's not a real industry. They were just looking for look, I mean, honestly, it was sort of smart to say, okay, we're going to use our stock as a currency. We're going to buy anything that moves, give stock for that company. And, you know, at least we'll have something real when it's all said and done. And the problem is they're not even getting anything real. I don't think the company has much revenue. I don't think they're buying something that has a lot of revenue, or they would at least mention how much. I've never heard of a company do an acquisition and not tell people how much revenue that company had. They know. Otherwise, they wouldn't buy the company. They know how much revenue it had. So tell us. We're the shareholders. Who does that? Who's ever done that in the history of M&A? I just don't. I've never seen a company do that in my entire life. Yeah, look, Steve, I mean, you can flip a coin. It's really hard to tell if the market's going to go up or down in any given day. If you're good at it, you'll be a trillionaire. Don't worry. I like Pinduoduo. We're not bag holders yet. We've seen 20% moves go down to flat. I don't want to look at a $30 million London company now. Maybe when we add London data to GODEL, that sounds like a very speculative, special interest thing that only you care about. If I do things that only one person cares about, it's not really interesting to everybody else. Only thing cool about Czech Republic are the chicks. They're very gifted. All right, the revenue growth here is 30% growth. I generally don't like special sits because you don't learn anything. Like, you just have to become an expert in one random thing, and you can only trade one stock on it, and you don't gain any knowledge that will help you with other stocks. Okay, so SentinelOne's growing very rapidly. 200 million in revenue last quarter, 6 times, and still growing like a beast. Sort of turning a profit now. Okay, let's read the SentinelOne 10K. Okay, cybersecurity is indispensable to our digital way of life, with millions of cyber attacks occurring every year, resulting in trillions of dollars in damages. Source, I made it up. We are in the midst of a generational shift in cybersecurity, ushered in by the ongoing digital transformation of the enterprise. I've been doing this type of thing since I was 19, 18, handling short squeezes. It's nothing new to me, man. Sizing. They say sizing and timing. To me, sizing matters even more. I mean, this is a pretty good squeeze, but I've seen crazier. We've all seen crazier with GameStop. But, oh, you know what was a good one? It was a really good one? Bird flu. H1N1. That was a crazy squeeze. I was calling into the government. Look, Mel, trading is, I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, of course, Peter. I'm not stupid. You don't have to even check. I mean, you just know. Starting to drop a little bit here. You lose some, you lose some. You win some, you lose some, you lose some, you lose some. They're all shorts. They're all zeros. Rigetti, IONQ, D-Wave, QSI, or QCI, C-Q. It's just a pain trade. Like, how much can you handle versus the longs? The longs are going to have pain too. Most of them have already had pain and gotten blown out. We did that to them already. Now it's our turn. Then it's going to be their turn. It's just a confidence thing. Yeah, these tend to reverse pretty violently, and if you suck people in with a lot of volume at the top, it could get ugly. S&P's up 1.8%. I mean, that's pretty solid gain on S&P. Yeah, around 1%. For which one, Mr. Ben? Yeah, for D-Wave. Yeah, D-Wave seems unlikely. As a result, our AI models are highly accurate, actionable, and autonomous. Our distributed AI models can run both locally on every endpoint and every cloud workload, as well as on our cloud platform. Platform defines security across diverse attack vectors. It's not really clear what the platform actually does, but clearly the customers are voting with their dollars. Sometimes 1, 2, but sometimes we do. Like, if we deploy the software ourselves internally, it's we can kind of understand what the product is sometimes. And what's MSP? Multi-cloud, or what is that? No, we like to use off-the-shelf software if we can. I mean, managed service provider, meaning what? Meaning to somebody who's an outsourced. Okay, well, we got IONQ coming down a little bit here. Starting to see some, at least, lows on the hour or so. I'd love to see a 23 handle. Godel is $60 a month, but we are very close to announcing a price increase to $80 a month. So if you sign up now, you do lock in 60 for life. But I think 80 is coming maybe as soon as next week. And we'll be adding London stocks, German stocks, Swiss stocks, Hong Kong stocks, and Tokyo stocks, Japan stocks. And then we'll also have futures, commodities, and soon a better options provider. And then big earnings estimates. Oh, we're definitely going to add OTC. The earnings estimates package we're spending money on is really expensive and huge amounts of data that nobody else has, except, say, Bloomberg or someone like that. What quantum day? The quantum presentation, there's like 75 companies, each being like, we're going to change the future. Okay, time's up. Thank you. Bye. You got 15 seconds on that stage. Meanwhile, Jensen just shadow all over you. Yeah, it's going to be about 30 years before you guys are relevant. Go ahead. Get your 5 minutes out. Go ahead. Yeah, the Rigetti executives sold all their stocks. I think it'll take longer than 30 years. Playing with quantum effects is not some simple thing. There's a lot of reasons to believe that scaling quantum is hard to impossible. And remember, it's not so much that 30 years, it's not 30 years of concentrated work. They will take shorter than that. It's 30 years of work, including disappointments and so-called winters of low investment, people giving up, that kind of thing. A back and forth. And the problem is not how long it's going to take. It doesn't matter if it's 5 years or 30 years. The problem is the applications. You can't really find an application that gets anybody excited. And that's what people are missing. Even the short report, as good as it was a very good short report, very well researched. The problem with the short report is and there's no problem with it, by the way, but one thing it didn't focus on was the applications of quantum. There was just this sort of giving up of like, yeah, it's going to, it might be important someday. But if you really spend a lot of time on it, I struggle to see the application. No, it was a short report on IONQ. It came out from Kerrisdale, who I think does pretty good short reports over the years. They talk to a lot of people, including former IONQ employees. I mean, IONQ is lying to everybody. So is D-Wave. The big thing about IONQ, okay, here's the point of IONQ is you have these linear chain of atoms. My artwork's going to be so bad here. So you have these ions, and they're sort of in these linear chains. And you're in this pressure vacuum, okay? And what you're doing is you have these lasers. I'm going to make a little laser controller here, okay? You have a laser, and the laser sort of, here's it going out into space. And then here's a mirror that's supposed to refract it. The pressure, we're at room temperature, but we're at like no pressure. And so this is a vacuum. These mirrors will allow for control depending on how you move the mirrors and whatnot. There's other mirrors and whatever. And you're hoping to like still these ions so that you can use them for quantum information. Cool. Now here's the problem. You need 1 million of these. And as you scale the ions, the problem becomes, okay, well, a couple things. How are these ions supposed to stay entangled? And do you lose that quantum effect as you add more mirrors and more beams? How do you really control all these things? And the other problem is, can you make the chamber bigger? So you have another laser maybe over here that controls more ions, but eventually you're going to run out of room because the chamber can't really grow very much. And what you can't do right now, at least, is move for some technical reason, I'm not sure I really understand, is you can't make the chain go in different directions. So that's not kind of what is allowed. So ultimately you have to close the chamber, right? There's just so much room that can fit. The Microsoft thing is very different. So you close the chamber and you say, okay, this is my chamber. Maybe there's 30 qubits in here, maybe there's 100, but this is my chamber. Got it? And this is the ion trap. We're trapping these ions with these lasers. And we're getting it to like a thermal equivalent of 0 kilopascal or 5 kilopascal, 5 kilokelvin or millikelvin or whatever. You have the same sort of thermal energy as if it were frozen. And so the problem is, okay, we can't do much with 100 qubits. It's basically useless. Maybe you get a logical qubit out of that if you're lucky, but you don't. So now you make a copy of this, okay, and you make 2 of these basically, and you say, okay, I'm going to have 2 of these. This is their strategy for real. Like, I'm not kidding. This is what they plan on doing. They're going to have 2 of these, and they're going to make something that they're calling a photonic interconnect that sort of allows transmission of information this way. So my physicist friends say this is not going to work. And this is not going to be the way to scale, where, they start to do more and more of these, right? And if anybody understands physics at all, I think you know that the problem with this is that you're taking this very normie idea and you're trying to take quantum states, which are very fragile, and sort of make them not fragile. And you'll have a superposition collapse. And you also have no cloning theorem, which gets in your way. So you get a big issue here where you will have observer, and by sort of trying to like use this interconnect to like transmit quantum information, you can't put these two ions in superposition, for example, they're worlds apart. It doesn't make a lot of sense. The photonic interconnect is going to cause a lot of noise. You won't be able to do any of this. So to me, like, this whole thing is nonsense, and they're not going to be able to scale. Maybe a superconducting one might, but this won't. Ion traps are dead. And so to me, I think that's, the interconnect idea is just insane. Superconducting like Rigetti and IBM and Google, okay, those companies, IBM and Google said, IBM and Google could do ion traps if they wanted, but they said, no, there's no way to scale it. IONQ is literally just going to fail. Like, there's just no way they can make it work. Even if you get through the thresholds of finding an actual thing to do with quantum that you want to do, and then finding a technology that works, you sort of have this, finding a thing that you want to do with the quantum tool, and then having that be commercially viable. Those are two big hurdles that you have to get through, even if the technology works. The problem with IONQ is the technology doesn't work. The problem with Rigetti and these other guys is that, okay, even if it does work, what are you going to use it for? And then you ask yourself, that thing that you're going to use it for, is anybody going to pay for that? There's no actual, use case here.
라이엇은 당일 거의 영향력이
aren't they bullish on ACM research? Hold on, isn't that they're bullish on ACM research? Yeah, they're long ACM research. This guy's such an idiot. Look at the current stock prices after issuing them. ACM research was a complete failure. The stock price went up 17%. Because it's a long report. I'm dying. Okay, yeah, this is another. So this is not his performance. This is 13Fs. This is a 13F calculation. This guy is the Korean Joe Springer. Okay, I know what I have to do now. I have to put out a Korean video. Okay, I can do this. No, I'm going to do it in K-pop style. And I'm going to do it as Martin Kim, I agree. I'm going to get a Korean language expert, hire them. They're going to sit next to me while I do the video. Oh! I just need a Korean expert. Anybody in the tri-state area. Or anybody that on Discord that knows Korean, just hit me up on Discord. Yeah, I need you on Discord. No, I'm not going to use AI. I'm not taking the coward's way out. Oh, he has only 5,000 followers on X, but 1 million followers on... Oh, no, this guy. I don't know. Markets are crazy. You got to be prepared for anything. My biggest position is IONQ, so it's kind of okay. Rigetti's, quite a lot, but there are plenty of days like this, and there are plenty of days where it's down like this. So no crying in the casino. It's a bubble. What do you expect? Unless you could show me a working quantum computer that does something useful. So apparently one of D-Wave's customers was asked if they use the machine, and they said no. There is nothing they use it for. BTS or QBTS? The BTS in QBTS ticker is probably bullish for Koreans, yeah. No, I kind of just pressed the trade too hard, I think. But I will keep pressing it. I think just less leverage, less options, less leverage. I really wanted to make my YOLO account go to 20 million or something. Stay in school. That's my tip. Stay in school. Learn how to read and write in English. It's critical. I don't think big institutions are in quantum. Yeah, it kind of doesn't make sense that the number one most traded stock is this random quantum company. That does seem like it's going to be Tilray all over again. Tilray is 61 cents. I remember when Tilray went to $200. This is the biggest YOLO in Wall Street Bets history. I ruined my family's fortune because I wanted to do something positive for Alzheimer's. Even though this doesn't do anything positive for Alzheimer's. Doing something positive for Alzheimer's is when you spend money on research. Buying a stock doesn't give anybody money. It doesn't pay for the clinical trial. They already raised the secondary. It's one thing if you go to them and you're like, listen, I'm going to directly invest $50 million. No, it's not about the company. As a stockholder, when you buy a stock, the company doesn't get that money. Only primary share issuances do they get the money. You buying in the secondary market doesn't do anything. All you're doing is giving money to the guy selling stock. You just want to get your gamble on. Yeah, you're buying my short. I got to look at the product more, but obviously the customers are loving the product. The biggest question on a lot of these stocks is will the growth continue? So it's very hard to tell. Got to look at much more closely. Interesting, Betty. Yeah, very interesting. They are selling. They are selling. Celsius isn't growing. It looks like that industry, the energy drink industry, kind of sucks. I do like the drink. It's not bad. Not great either, but Google looks cheap to me. Even though I don't like the people, I don't like the companies. So yeah, so this is the key here. I mean, if you listen to this, you cannot get a quantum speed up because Grover's is not really actually implementable. And then two, you have a huge amount of state that you have to shove into the quantum computer, which you just can't. There's no quantum memory. There's no quantum RAM. You know, there's no way to prepare these states with huge amounts of data. And then where do you put them? You can't put them on the qubits. So it's just toast. You know, it's just impossible. And the same thing applies to D-Wave.
Data?
Okay, I know a lot about this space. I ran a small chemistry software company. It is a really small space. Like the most amount of revenue from Schrodinger is 100 mil. So there's no real space here. Nobody cares about this. Ask anyone at Pfizer or Merck if they're excited about quantum, and they'll laugh at you. So this stuff is really far away, but this stuff is useless.
Some of the work that I've done.
No, cryptography is in the same space. I think that, you know, cryptography is a serious business. I mean, cryptocurrency is something different. You know, cryptography, there's no profit in it, but the standards are really important. RSA used to be a publicly traded company, RSA Security. You know, they're ideas and protocols, like saying, you know, it's like saying TCP/IP, you know, it governs everything we do, but there's no TCP/IP company, right? It's like, you know, somewhat, you know, primitive. It's a primitive more than it is anything else. That's the way I look at that.
Better part of my career.
So basically, Amazon got the largest optimization problems of anybody. They have more packages that they have to ship around the country. And they have to figure out all the optimization for routes, for inventory, etc. And they make a video that says D-Wave doesn't work. Read a paper that says we're going to compare D-Wave to classical computers, and they found that D-Wave is slower. Which stock is up the most today? Which stock has traded the most today? Go ahead, rally. I got something for you.